What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to another tutorial. Today I'm going to be showing you a simple way to create stylized text in Cinema 4D. Then at the end I'll show you a few more ways you can style and utilize your text for posters, videos, renders, and all your other projects. But let's not waste any more time and let's get right into the tutorial. So we're here in Cinema 4D, but before we begin, I do want to preface that this tutorial is going to be a little bit more flowy. Last week there was a lot of cuts, it was super fast paced and kind of hard to follow along. So this week I'm going to just try and do no cuts. So you'll see the process in real time, every single detail that I do, so that it will hopefully be a bit easier to follow along, and maybe you'll learn a few extra things than if I cut it up and left it more formatted. But let's go ahead and get into this because I do want to keep this tutorial rather short. It's rather simple, so no reason it should be over 6 or 7 minutes. But we're going to click a Shift and then C. It's going to pull up our commander and we're going to type text. From here, we're going to click the text primitive MoGraph. From here, we'll click the layer and go over to text spline, and you can type in whatever you want here. I'm just going to type my name, which is Cage, and then we're going to align it to the middle. So we have our text here now. Don't like the font, so I'm going to go over to the font and change it. Not to that, but this will have all your installed fonts on your computer, so pick whatever you like. I'm going to do... I had one picked out, Franklin Gothic Heavy. And if there's a style of the font that you want, like whether it's italic or bold, it'll be right underneath it. You can just click it and change it from there. So I'll just go over a few of the controls in here. Depth changes the extrusion or the depth of the text. The height changes the size of the text without altering the depth. So I'll do a side here. You can see the depth stays at 20. So it's a little different than the scaling tool, as when you scale it up, the depth will change. So different circumstances, you need different tools. So that's a good one to know. Horizontal spacing changes the spacing of the letters, and I'll create a second line here. And the vertical spacing, obviously it just changes the vertical spacing pretty much. But yeah, so we now have our text. And I'm going to change the depth to 65. I think that's pretty solid. And I'm going to go over to the caps section. Now this section is the part where you can customize your text and the look of it, overall the shape. So there's a lot of things you can do here, and I'll show you a few of them, but don't get overwhelmed. I'm going to simplify it for you. But just really quick, I'm going to show you like rounded. You can do this, solid. There's different ways to use it. Step, you can change the amount of steps from 3 to 10 to 1. Spline I use a lot actually in most of my work. It just has this cool thing. You add the extrusion, you add the bevel outside, and you can just create these like really cool looks with them. But yeah, like I said, there's a lot of things you can do, and you can spend hours customizing your text. But we're gonna keep it simple, so we're gonna go to load preset. Here, there's just going to be a bunch of pre-installed looks that Cinema 4D has, so you can pick the shape that you want from here, so you don't have to custom or make it on your own. We'll pick quarter circle rounded. It gives us this cool little shape here. From here, we can customize it a little bit, use it almost as a base. If you're happy with this look, by all means, keep it. But I want to customize it a little bit more. So I'm going to go over to the size, lower the size to, let's say, like a 3.5, and I'm going to hit the extrusion option here, which I want you to pay close attention. This is the before, this is the after. So when you enable things like extrusion, and then we'll enable bevel outside as well right here, before, after, it changes the look of the text a little bit. It's not a huge change, but it does change it, so it's something to be conscious about. So we have our extrusion here, and I'm going to keep it at 0 just because I like the look of it. We'll change it to negative 0.25 just so that we can say we altered it. And it gives us this clean little like inner bevel look, and I'm pretty happy with it. I'm not going to change the bevel outside. Again, that kind of just changes the thickness of your text. It is aligned to the size of it, but for me, I'm pretty happy with the way it looks so far. So we're going to keep this, and the next thing we're going to do is take this text, click Control V, and then Control C, and then Control V just to copy and paste it. We're going to go back over to Object and change the depth to 50. And then I'm going to go back over to Caps, and we're going to select Load Preset Basic Rounding. This pretty much just resets your text back to the original. If we change it to 0, I'll disable this first one. You can see we're back to square one. So selecting the rounded preset is pretty much a reset. It's a good thing to keep in mind when you customize and you're creating a new text, or you just want to start over. So from here, we're going to just keep it on rounded, and I'm going to change the size to about 8. And then I'm going to go over to extrusion and change the offset to about -1. We'll keep it there for now. It's probably going to change. And I'm going to select bevel outside. As you can see here, we're now creating this like second layer of text. So I'm going to go back down and change the size actually a decent amount, probably to like a 2.5. And then we're going to go back over to object and change the depth to 60. And we're just going to realign this text to eyeball the center. You can find the exact measurements and where you need to move it, or how many centimeters you need to move it. Here I think it would be 5, not 5. There's a way to figure it out, but just for the sake of keeping this video short, I'm just going to eyeball it. And as you can see now, we have this double layered text. And it's getting a little too cramped, so I'm going to select both of these, go over to object, and change the horizontal spacing to 3, just so we can get a little bit more space going on. So we now have the shape of our text. We have this cool like roundedness and then a little bit of an inner bevel. Overall, I like it. It's pretty cool. From here, I'm going to show you some ways you can change the shape of the text. And by that, I mean like warping it a little bit. So we're going to go over to this modifier tab, and I'm going to select the warp tool for now. There are a lot of things in here that you can choose to modify your text, but warp is one that I use a lot. So I'm going to show you how I use this. We're going to select it and then move it kind of to the center of our text. Again, just eyeballing it for now. But yeah, we'll do that. And then I'm going to attach it as the child to both of these. So I'll create 2 of them. And as you can see, it's already warping our text a decent amount. So I'm going to select them both. And here's a lot of different options we can do. So I'm actually going to change this to spherical just so we can get more of a fun look. And I'm going to change the width to about 1,000, roughly around that area. The radius I'm going to turn up to about 400-ish. Maybe bring the width there, and then change the height to about 480. And then from here, I'm going to change the scale. Just bring that down, and then the tension, bring it to about 65. As you can see, actually I'm going to go back and change the scale. Sorry about that. Scale to about 70. So you can see we have this fun, like rounded text a little bit. Cool for renders, whatever you want, or video. Again, anything, any of your projects. It's a cool thing. I'm actually just going to change this back to cylindrical, and I'm going to up the height. Oops, sorry, not the height. The one of these I messed up. Sorry about that. There we go. It's the width. We're going to just up the width so we can get back to our normal looking text. But yeah, there's a lot of ways just in the wrap alone that you can customize the text, or we can just, I'll take another deformer really quick just to show you how the other ones look. We'll take this bend one and we're going to add a strong bend to our text. You can see I will create 2 of these. So there's just a lot of fun things in there that you can do. And most of these are static. While you can animate them, I usually wouldn't, as they can get kind of finicky sometimes. But yeah, that's one way you can change the look a little bit. This next way I'm going to show you is a bit of a way you can animate your text. Again, not really part of the stylizing, but it's a good thing to know. So we're going to go ahead and select both of our layers, make sure they're highlighted, click Control-C again, and then type in plane. We're going to click this effector MoGraph. And if you want to know how, if you want to get any more of the MoGraph effectors, you can just come up here and click MoGraph and then under effector. This is where we found the plane. We're going to go over to parameter now on the plane effector. Keep the position at 100. Actually, we'll change it to 50, just so, for example's sake. And then we're going to select rotation. We'll do 30, 30, and then like 2. And then we're going to go over to scale, select uniform scale, and change it to -1. So you can see our text is gone. I'm now going to go over to fields, select the linear field option, hold down, and select a box field. As you can kind of see, it's now affecting our text. We're going to make this box bigger and taller. Make sure it covers all of our text. Perfect. So now our text is completely gone, and we're gonna animate this box just really quick. Set this to 90, and we're gonna move it. Perfect. So as you can see, if we click play, we just created a little simple animation of our text animating in. It seems a little stiff, doesn't it? So the next thing we're gonna do is actually select both of our text again, click Shift C, and then type in delay. Now this delay is just gonna give it a bit more of a springy look, as we're gonna go over to Effector, click Spring, change the strength to about 60. And when we click play now, you can see it has a little bit more fun coming in. We'll do maybe like up it to like 90. And yeah, now we're having a lot of fun. It's a bit crazy. And if we up the box or make the box field animate out in 1 second rather than 3, a lot faster, you can see we have this fun text going on. So there's a lot of different ways that you can animate it in and just customize. And I want to continue to harp on it. I know I've said it a few times already, but I will continue to say it. There is no amount of time that you're supposed to spend on this. Spend as many hours or as little hours as you would like on both the customization of the text in the cap area or the animation or the look of it, like whatever. There is no amount of time in 3D or design in general that you can spend that's a wrong amount of time. But yeah, now that we have our text animated, like I said, a little goofy, but it's okay. That's what we're going for. I'll actually change this delay down to about 50% so the springiness isn't super apparent. You can see, so it's a little bit more of a blend, maybe like 70. And yeah, we're looking good. We're getting a little off track because this is not the point of the video. The next part I'm going to show you guys is how to customize it with materials. So I use Octane. You can use whatever renderer you want, whether it's Redshift, a native Maxon, or something else. I just prefer Octane. It's all the same principles, so feel free to continue watching and following along. We're gonna go ahead and start our Octane up, immediately change the settings to path tracing and the sample rate to 3000. Go over to post, click enable, and then change the bloom power to about 30. From here, I'm going to also just change the alpha channel to an alpha layer, because normally when I'm rendering out text, it's either going to be in its scene or it's going to be rendered as a PNG transparent background so I can put it in a different scene. But yeah, so we've done that, and I'm now going to add an HDRI environment. I said this last tutorial and I'll say it again. Grayscale Gorilla is where I'm going to pull my HDRI from. It has an asset of materials, HDRIs, textures, models, whatever you want. It's, if you have the opportunity to get it, I would. It's fantastic. I use it every day in my work. I'm a 3D designer, that's my profession, and I use it every day. But if you don't, if you can't get it, do not worry. There are plenty of sites that have free HDRIs, free materials, free textures. So there's, you can go to one of those and it works just as well. This is more of just a condensed library that's built into the program. Very great quality of life, but again, not super mandatory. So I'm just going to use it for an HDRI environment here that we can quickly pull in. Looks pretty solid. But yeah, next thing I'm going to do is create a metallic material. And I'm going to go over to the roughness and just up it so it's not like a super polished material. I'm going to attach it to the first text. As you can see here, we're now getting a cool looking text as the bevel edges have a little bit of a shine to them. It's pretty cool. I'm actually going to change the color of this to just be a little bit darker. We can do that. I'll just change it in the specular tab. I'm going to create a second one, and we're going to change this to, we'll just change it to red. Everyone loves red, right? And we'll attach this to the second one. Definitely need a brighter red, that's for sure. Do it to there. We're just going to up the HDRI brightness a good amount, actually, just so we can see our text a little bit more. Change the rotation. There we go. Now it's much easier to see. But yeah, so this is our text so far, looking pretty good. And then I'm going to turn off all frames. You can see it animate in. Pretty, oh. I think the program crashed. Yeah, yep, it crashed. That's great. So I'll make sure to have a still next to me while I'm talking about this. But again, this is pretty much the final outcome. I just want to do a quick tutorial to show you how you can stylize text. And I'm sure if you've worked in Cinema 4D before, you've dealt with crashes. I know I have plenty of times, so nothing new here. That's why you got to save your work. Turn on autosave. It was a tutorial, so I wasn't saving it, unfortunately. I hope you all enjoyed this short tutorial. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below. Or if there's another tutorial you want to see, like, I don't know, whatever you want to see, feel free to ask it down below and I'll see if I can make it happen. But if you did enjoy, make sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.